Coming up, Starbucks employees on strike, why they're advocating for workers' rights.
Numerous Hawkeyes earn Big Ten honors.
A look into a unique costume designer.
Snow is falling and winter is calling. I'll have your full forecast and weather.
All that and more
coming up right now on DITV.
Good morning from Iowa City. It's Friday, December 5th. I'm Kabedi Mutamba.
And I'm Annika Perez.
And the third member of our team, Karch, is live here in the studio to tell us today's weather story.
Karch, aren't you glad that you aren't outside?
Yeah, thanks, Kabedi. And yes, lucky enough, I got to stay inside today because it is very, very cold out this morning. It is currently 16 degrees out there, so I'm glad that I'm here in the studio stuck with you ladies. But today has a high of 32. With the wind making it a little bit colder, with the feels like sticking around in the 20s. And it'll stick out through the 20s here tonight as well. Tomorrow we'll see highs sticking up into the upper 20s with a little more snow falling tomorrow night. You guys are going to want to stay warm, and I'll have the rest of the week's forecast later. For now, back to you at the desk.
Starbucks workers in Iowa City are demanding action. They're pushing for better pay, fair hours, and improved working conditions.
DITV's Liz Schultz joins us live outside the Clinton Street Starbucks to break down why these baristas are a part of the nationwide strike. Liz?
Kabedi, Annika, you can see behind me, these workers, they are not backing down. They're out here this freezing morning advocating for workers' rights. Now, nationally, this is also going on as well. Leaders are speaking out and advocating for these workers' rights. They say they want to improve conditions.
The respect that they deserve.
Now, over 200 locations across the country are also a part of this nationwide strike. Now, the locations in Iowa here are the Clinton Street in Iowa City, as well as a location in Des Moines. And like I said, you can see behind me their signs. They say Starbucks Workers United, Red Cup Rebellion. They're out here this morning, and they hope that Starbucks listens to them and listens that they're speaking out against these workers' rights and advocating for fair pay. Live in Iowa City, Liz Schultz, DITV.
The Iowa City Streets Division is giving out free salt for residents to use for upcoming chilly weather. The city intends for the salt to be used for residential sidewalks, not commercial or contractor use. Homeowners are responsible for clearing snow within 24 hours of the last snowfall. You can pick up the salt at the parking lot of 301 Napoleon Lane. Shovels and buckets are not provided.
And for all of those out-of-staters flying home for the holidays, the University of Iowa has an early present. Uber vouchers from rides to and from the airport will be available December 12th on the campus safety website. Availability for the vouchers is first come, first serve. The university says the first 50 students will receive vouchers. Pickup for the vouchers must be within a 5-mile radius from the university, and drop-off must be within a mile from the Eastern Iowa Airport in Cedar Rapids.
And starting on Wednesday morning, Jefferson Street will be closed between the Dubuque and Lynn intersections here in the red due to construction. This closure will detour the 7 North Dodge and 11 Rochester buses. In the green here, we can see the detour route spanning from Washington to Gilbert and back to Jefferson. Due to the detour, bus stops on Jefferson will not be serviced. Bus routes are expected to continue as normal following the reopening of Jefferson Street. The transit app can be used to stay informed as routes will be updated throughout the day.
And changes to Night Ride begins an increase in student ridership. This fall, Night Ride changed their services from an on-demand to a fixed route in hopes of shortening wait times and providing more late-night rides to students since the change. Night Ride has seen a 90% increase in usage among students, with an undergrad students making up 97% of rides. 5,400 rides were given in just under 2 weeks with the new system, which is almost higher than the 5,499 rides provided during the entire 2024-25 school year.
And hundreds of Iowa City and Cedar Rapids community members gathered on Tuesday in support of immigrants in the city.
DITV's James O'Connor is live in the newsroom to tell us more about the rally. James, what went down on Tuesday morning?
Yes, Kabeti and Annika, even with the cold temperatures, many immigration advocates and local faith leaders gathered with hundreds of Iowa City residents and 56 immigrants in front of the U.S. Department of Home Security office in Cedar Rapids. The rally included displays of protest signs and protesters singing as the immigrants waited for their appointments. According to the organization, there's an increased risk that some immigrants could be detained as the number has risen by a drastic 40% over the past calendar year, according to ICE's website. Getzi Hernandez, an organizer with Escucha Mi Voz, says that we are here to remind ICE that these values and basic human rights are not optional, they are fundamental. The office opened at 8 a.m., letting immigrants with an appointment check in one at a time, while others were left outside in the cold, continuing to protest. The Iowa Public Employees Retirement System, otherwise known as the IPRS, is questioning their future. This has been developing since February when Governor Kim Reynolds attempted to create a plan to increase efficiency within the state's government. Created in 1953, the IPRS was founded because the state government understood a need for benefits that would help attract and retain public employees in the state. After statewide pushback from Democrats and public employees, the task force recommended that the state should explore changes through studies of compensation and benefit plans in the state. Governor Reynolds addressed some of these concerns by saying, "You can rest assured that the IPRS will be there for your retirement, just as you've planned and we've promised." In other Iowa news, the Board of Regents has elected a new president. Robert Kramer has been elected as the new president of the Board of Regents after former president Sherry Bates announced her resignation from the office in December. Kramer was nominated for the role by Board of Regent member Greta Rouse and was voted in as president by unanimous vote. Kramer was appreciative of Bates' work during her time in office, citing her positive attitude and support of Regent universities was a major accomplishment during her time in leadership. Kramer spoke on the future of the board and his goals for the universities, including affordable education and academic excellence. In the quote, Kramer said, "Thank you for trusting me with this opportunity. I'm going to work hard, and I think together we can make Iowa universities the envy of the country." The Board of Regents has been making many other changes. DITV's Kate Vernon is at the Old Capitol for more news on the Board of Regents.
Thanks, James. And electing a new president isn't the only change occurring in the Board of Regents. The group recently passed the Center for Intellectual Freedom, also called CIF, bylaws on December 3rd. The newly established CIF will be hosting its first public event here at the Old Capitol Museum beginning tonight and will continue into tomorrow. There will be a total of 3 sessions and 4 panels. They will consist of networking opportunities and speakers. The events will cover subjects such as the flaws within universities and new efforts for the CIF and a capstone session. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds and former Regent David Barker plan to make an appearance. The CIF event will happen this afternoon at 3:30 p.m. right here in the Old Capitol Museum. From the University of Iowa, Kate Vernon, DITV.
Well, thank you, Kate. And the Johnson County School Board announces potential budget cuts for the 2027 school year. This comes from uncertainty in money allocation in next year's budget. JOCO is realizing this due to an upcoming legislative session that will determine where the money will go. The board is waiting for the end of this year to finalize the documents as discussion over the budget continues. They're encouraging department heads to come up with creative ideas to cut what is least important.
Trailblazing at just 12 years old, most kids are probably focused on playing video games on the couch. Well, this middle schooler is focused on running a business he co-founded. Here's how Kareem Dousa and his mom, Malaz El-Jamamiabi, are trying to add spice to everyone's life.
At just 12 years old, Kareem Dousa is already cooking up a storm. He co-founded his own cooking business, Spicica, with his mom in 2022. Kareem started cooking because he wanted to spend more time with his mom, and he hopes to spread their love for cooking to other kids.
Because a lot of kids think of the kitchen, and like cooking is like, okay, I only need to cook to eat food. That's like the only, I need to cook to eat. I don't think like see cooking something as like enjoyable.
Kareem and his mom are selling spices that they say go straight from the farm to the jar. They actually travel to places like Zanzibar, Turkey, and Sudan to speak to the farmers they buy the spices from, with Kareem even doing some of the business himself. His proud mom right by his side.
just amazing. Just watching that is pure joy to me. I'm such a proud mom.
Kareem takes what he learns abroad and gives it right back to the community here in the States by teaching cooking classes and going to business competitions, hoping to keep Spicica growing. And having a successful business isn't his only dream.
I'm seeing this like as something that could be like helpful to me in the future. If it becomes something really big, I'm completely fine with doing it full time. But like my main goal for me was like I was like still been like on track to become like a cardiologist, which is a heart doctor.
Kareem's ability to dream this big at only 12 years old has gotten him this far, and only time will tell where it will take him next. In Iowa City, Kabiri Mutamba, DITV.
Handful of football awards, updates on the future of a former Iowa volleyball star, and previews of Iowa basketball.
And later, a special look at the New Hampshire Festival.
Stories occur every day, and here at DITV, we've got you covered with up-to-date news and politics.
We are anxiously waiting for those votes for not only the national election, but here in District 1.
Community members protest and stand for science.
Keeping highlights and scores with Hawkeye Sports.
Advancing to the quarterfinals, Iowa looks to boost their overall placement and their way into the semis.
It's Iowa's second road win of the season, first since September 21st.
And of course, all the latest in entertainment.
Sit back, relax, and here's the word on the street.
I'm here at the Alan McVeigh Theater where a unique performance.
Here at DITV, we've got a crew bringing you all the stories from across the nation and right here in your backyard.
From the Iowa State Fair.
In Nashville, Tennessee.
From downtown Iowa City. From Carver Hawkeye Arena.
And bringing all the coverage straight to you live on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings. Around the University of Iowa and Iowa City community, we have the stories that matter to you here at DITV.
Welcome back to DITV this morning.
And let's take a look back with cards for the forecast for the week ahead.
Thanks, Annika. And well, I'd recommend you rush to the nearest grocery store to stock up on cinnamon rolls because we are looking at a chilly week ahead. Taking a look here at the monitor wall, Saturday night snow will carry over into Sunday morning with highs sitting around the mid-20s all day. And Monday we'll see more of the same with the temps sitting in the teens and reaching into the 20s at night. Tuesday will bring us out of the freezing temperatures here and we'll sit up into the upper 30s. And the highs will stick around into Wednesday, but they will drop down into the 20s in the afternoon. Snow will be coming on Thursday as the temperatures drop. So make sure you stay warm because the wind will be impacting the weather. So thanks. Back to you guys at the desk.
Well, thank you, Carton. I personally hate the wind, the snow. I just am not a big fan of any of it.
I mean, yeah, I'm prepared to get that really big, really warm coat. And we don't have to worry about that for football because it's no longer outside, but there's still updates.
Absolutely, guys. And before the Hawkeyes turn their attention to bowl season, multiple Hawkeye football players took home Big Ten honors this week. On the offensive line, Logan Jones, Bo Stevens, and Jennings Dunker found their way onto the first team All-Big Ten list. The other two starting linemen, Cade Pieper and Trevor Locke, received third-team All Honors, making it a clean sweep for the offensive line that helped the Hawks score 26 rushing touchdowns and pass for 10 more on the year. Additionally, tight end Hayden Large, wide receiver Jacob Gill, and running back Kamari Moulton received honorable mentions. This was the first time since 2014, however, that no defensive players were recognized by the first team. And for the first time in history, a player was named the Rogers Dwight Return Specialist of the Year twice. That, of course, being Caden Weegan. Earlier this week, Weegan became the first player to win the Rogers Dwight Award twice, having done so in back-to-back seasons. Weegan was also named first-team All-Big Ten as a returner by both the coaches and the media. Weegan's 3 punt return scores and his singular kick return touchdown helped him become the all-time return touchdown leader in Iowa football history. With the volleyball season wrapped up, Iowa setter Claire Amaral is taking her talents to the next level. In the 2025 season, Claire was the second in assists and double-doubles in the Big Ten and the most kills out of any setter. But she has now made Hawkeye history. Claire was drafted with the 22nd pick in the Major League Volleyball draft, the first Iowa player to be drafted into the league. Her reaction to being selected was different than expected.
I was really excited. I was really surprised because I didn't think it was an option.
Claire's original plan was to graduate and apply for med school, but she pivoted and has already started training with the Supernovas. In her short time, she's already learned a lot.
I was a little nervous, but everyone's super supportive and inviting and welcoming, and so it's been great.
Claire looks forward to take everything she can from her professional volleyball experience, for her being the first Hawkeye to get drafted to the MVL. It excites her. For the first time, she feels like that she is happy that young girls will have the opportunity to play in a U.S.-centered volleyball organization just like she did.
Professional volleyball in the U.S. is taking off more and more people are going to have that opportunity as the league continues to grow.
You can watch Claire and the Supernovas at their season opener January 7th. The Iowa women's basketball team is off to a hot start this season as they are currently undefeated and ranked 12th in the country. After a win over Fairfield last week, the Hawkeyes now turn their attention to Big Ten play. 8-0 Iowa will travel out to Rutgers for their Big Ten season opener to take on the 7-2 Scarlet Knights. Tip-off is set for 5 p.m. tomorrow night. In other women's basketball news, Iowa forward Jada Jimfy is expected to miss extended time after suffering a knee injury. The senior underwent a procedure at the University of Iowa Healthcare Medical Center earlier this week and is now expected to miss up to 3 months. Jimfy has appeared in 4 games this season for the Hawkeyes, and head coach Jan Jensen is optimistic Jimfy will return for postseason play. Staying on the hardwood with men's basketball, after a 7-0 start, Ben McCollum's team is coming off a very frustrating loss to number 7 Michigan State in East Lansing Tuesday night. The Hawks travel back home to Carver Hawkeye Arena for their Big Ten home season opener against Maryland. Like Iowa, Maryland is under first-year head coach, that being former Texas A&M head coach Buzz Williams. Both schools have completely revamped rosters from just a year ago. Despite their first loss earlier this week, Iowa still holds an early 7-1 record. Maryland has had a very difficult start to their season and currently sits at 6-3. Tip-off from Carver Hawkeye Arena begins at 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. Although Iowa was upset against Iowa State last Sunday, a couple of standout Hawkeye wrestlers were honored by the Big Ten. Sophomore Ryder Block took down second-ranked Panero Johnson 2-1 in the tiebreaker to secure Big Ten Wrestler of the Week. And redshirt freshman Angelo Ferrari won Big Ten Freshman of the Week after beating 10th-ranked Isaac Dean 2-1. Ferrari improved to 6-0 on the season, while Block reached 4-1. Overall on the season, Hawkeyes hold a 5-2 record as they prepare for the Uncivil War tournament next weekend in Missouri. Well, guys, we're starting to transition into the winter season of sport. A lot of winter kind of holiday season tournaments coming up, and with that, holiday season.
Yeah, and also a lot of movies coming up for us to watch as well. Annika, what is your favorite holiday movie?
I personally love A White Christmas, but I want to send it over to Grace with The Vibe to tell us more about some movies that are coming out recently.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another segment of The Vibe. Today we're going to start with the holiday season, not only bringing seasonal drinks and snow, but also some of the best movies and productions of the year. Both Wicked for Good and the new Stranger Things came out over fall break, and movies like Avatar, Fire and Ash are coming over winter break. One thing that can make or break a movie is costume design. DITV's Felicity Menning spoke to one of the University of Iowa's costume designers, Kathy Parrott.
Before assistant professor Kathy Parrott joined the University of Iowa, she spent some time in New York City as a costume designer, working on productions like The Greatest Showman, In the Heights, and Noah. What drew Parrott to New York City was Broadway. Growing up listening to music from shows like Motown made it even sweeter when she got to work as the associate designer for the Broadway show.
I knew that of all the jobs I had gotten, when I got to call my family in Manchester, Iowa, and tell them I got hired on Motown the musical, like that was going to be the one that they thought was going to be the coolest.
After spending nearly 2 decades in New York City, Kathy Parrott decided to take her talents and her fabrics here to University of Iowa. One of the biggest differences from working at the Big Apple and working at the University of Iowa is the budget. There's a big difference when it comes to a university show like Romeo and Juliet and a Broadway show like Motown.
I mean, honestly, my budget for Romeo and Juliet, my whole show budget, the whole production budget for costumes, that's how much money I would have for one costume on a Broadway production.
Parrott teaches the variation of costume design classes for graduate and undergraduate students.
So it's really an excellent opportunity to be able to learn from somebody who has so much real-world experience at kind of one of the highest levels of costume design.
She's been on Broadway, she's done movies,
movies, TV shows, that kind of stuff. So to have someone that like I can set my goals on to, it's really nice and refreshing.
The theater department has a large collection of costumes and fashion pieces that have been accumulated and donated over the years. While working on Broadway may seem perfect, they don't have the costume shop quite like the one the university does. In Iowa City, Felicity Menning, DITV.
Small Business Saturday is back in downtown Iowa City for December and the holiday season. But unfortunately, with the weather bringing heavy snow and cold, last Saturday's festivities had come to a stop. Many people did not show up last Saturday due to the dangerous road conditions. For many businesses downtown, Small Business Saturday is one of the most important days of the year regarding sales for them. Business owners have stated that these 4 weeks are vital for the survival of their businesses and are urging the Iowa City community to come out this Saturday and shop. Small businesses are what make Iowa City so special, so be sure to get your holiday shopping done this Saturday. And Hancher Auditorium made a big announcement this week. This spring, Hancher will debut for the first time the Stop Time Festival. This unique festival is meant to celebrate the idea of innovation and freedom within music and art. The festival was co-created by Hancher's executive director himself, Andre Perry. Many musicians from Iowa will perform, and the festival will take place at a variety of different venues over the span of 2 days. The festival will start on April 3rd, and for more information, visit the Hancher website. And Spotify users had their finalized Spotify Wrap this week, which shows their most listened to song and artist of the year. Many users took to social media to share their top songs and artists to connect with music lovers across the globe. However, the top global artist for 2025 was announced as well, and many fans were not surprised. Bad Bunny was named the most streamed artist of the year. The Puerto Rican rapper also had the top streamed album, taking home the top awards of the season. He will soon be hitting the stage as he is set to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show in 2026. Taylor Swift was right behind him for the runner-up spot, followed by The Weeknd, Drake, and Billie Eilish. Congratulations to Bad Bunny, and I look forward to seeing him on my screen in February. And for our Feel Good Friday story, we're going to take a trip over to Wisconsin, where actor Hugh Jackman surprised students at Milwaukee School for the Arts. Students originally thought they were going to preview Jackman's new film, Song Sung Blue, but when he walked through the doors, the classroom erupted in screams and cheers. Jackman was already on his way to the film premiere and thought he'd make a pit stop, leaving these students to feel inspired.
A big part of it was like, follow your dreams, don't be afraid to have magnificent dreams, expect to be successful in ways that you wouldn't expect to be.
This was in many ways the most important day of this whole journey, because we love this story about these folk heroes, Lightning and Thunder, Mike and Claire, but also this a love letter to this town, to Milwaukee, to musicians, to places like this all around the world. So we had to come here.
Hugh Jackman's new film, Song Sung Blue, will release in theaters on Christmas Day. Thank you so much for joining us on another segment of The Vibe. We will be back next Friday for our last Vibe rundown of the semester. Back to you guys at the desk.
And thank you so much, Grace. I had a wonderful time watching that, but...
You know, it's still cold, and I'm sure most of you want to know whether you can take off at least some of those layers, so we'll send it back to Karch here live in the studio.
Well, as you can see out your window, we got a ton of snow last weekend, and this upcoming week should only bring more. Now, I will be celebrating my birthday on Sunday inside, because Saturday night should bring 1 to 3 more inches around 7 p.m. and ending around 6 a.m. on Sunday morning. Next Thursday should pile around another 1 to 3 inches during the afternoon, creating great piles to go sledding on. Now, all this snow will have me snuggled up with a glass of hot cocoa and a movie on. Hope you guys are doing the same. Back to you at the desk.
The iconic New York Rockefeller tree is officially lit for the season.
And it's a festive tradition that draws huge crowds from all across the country.
That's right, the massive tree holds thousands of lights and ornaments, marking the beginning of the festive season in New York.
I am so excited for Christmas, you guys, and I may have to plan a trip to New York to go see the tree now.
Thank you for joining us online or listening on KRUI 89.7 FM.
We are here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we will see you next time.